television has a poison on its breath. This counterculture of both wicked lives and death. It makes my eyes bleed every time I turn around. How will they all feel when I bring out to the ground and I say, I walk for miles inside this pit of danger, a place where no one follows. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I walk alone. I'm sick of all these people talking out their ears. I've never understood a damn thing that they said. From words to actions, never knowing what they're about. I guess I'll have to chill them up and spit down all I say. I'll walk for miles inside this pit of danger. I swallow down 1,000 years of anger. The weight of the world is falling on my shoulders. A place where no one follows me. I walk alone. Yeah. I walk alone. Oh yeah. I walk for miles inside this pit of danger. I've swallowed down 1,000 years of anger. The weight of the world is falling on my shoulders. A place where no one follows me. I walk alone. 'Welcome to another edition of The Master of the Mat. I am your host. I am Anthony the Origin Bryant, and I'm going to not waste any time. I'm going to get right into it. As you saw on the WFCW page, I'm going to talk about my company, the BCW. I'm going to talk about why I don't like Cody Rhodes. I'm going to talk about a lot of other stuff that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's one second. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about why I'm the current champion in my company. But first of all, we're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to talk about why I don't like Cody Rhodes. Never have. Didn't like him when he started with Hardcore Holly. Didn't care for him when he was a tag team with Hardcore Holly. Okay, I didn't care for him when he turned on Hardcore Holly and joined with Ted DiBiase and called themselves Legacy or the Fortunate Sons or whatever the heck they want to call themselves. They didn't care for him. Didn't care for it at all. Okay, he went on from greatness. He became a 3-time tag team champion with two with DiBiase, one with Hardcore Holly. He became a 2-time Intercontinental champion. Okay, he would go on to win the tag team championships one more time with Drew McIntyre. Then he won it 2 more times with his brother at Stardust. A gimmick he created. Now, granted, the gimmick he created almost ended his career because he felt that he can go as far as he can with Stardust, and he did that. He did a wonderful job. He left the WWE. He left the WWE, and he went on to Independent Glory. And when I mean Independent Glory, he went on to Independent Glory. He will go on. He will go on to become the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He will become the Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Champion with the entire Bullet Club. He will go on. He would go on to become perhaps one of the independent's finest stars in all the professional wrestling, and he would make his name. He was Jeff Jarrett's company generation Gen X champion. That's what they want to call it. I don't know what they called it, but I know he was their champion. He would go on and he would make a name for himself. He would do it. He would go. I'm gonna tell you right now, Cody would. I think what it is, that Cody, when he left WWE, he made a name for himself on the independent scene. He was in Impact Wrestling for a while. He was in Ring of Honor for a while. He went to NWA for a while. He became the only father-son duo to win the NWA World Championship. That's none of the reason I don't like him. The reason I don't like him, at the very first AEW All Out, I watched it on the YouTube channel because a friend of mine let me scream it with him. I watched it on my computer. And what I didn't like was when he came up like Triple H on his throne. His wife, Brandy, came out with a sledgehammer. And he literally destroyed that chair. Destroyed that chair. As that was a simulation that, well, Triple H tried to end my career. No, you want to tell the story what ended your career in WWE? You ended your career, your first run in WWE. It wasn't Triple H. It wasn't Vince McMahon. It was Cody. Everybody wants to say, well, now he's back and he on this. He still sucks. Just because he's Dusty Rhodes' baby boy don't mean nothing. Let me explain something to you. I got 2 people watching. Let me explain something to you. Dustin Rhodes was overlooked in every promotion he's ever been in. He has natural talent. That's why he's called the natural Dustin Rhodes. Dustin went head to head with WWE Hall of Famer Ravishing Rick Rude and beat him for the United States Championship. He went head to head with probably one of the craziest man walking this earth, Terry Funk, and beat him. He took a beat down from the enforcer, Arn Anderson. He went head to head with that big old Stinky Vader and beat him. This while he was in WCW and while he was in WWE as Goldust. He did everything. He beat Vader. He beat Rude. He beat Arn. He beat Funk. A lot of guys can't say they beat Terry Funk in a clean fight. Dustin can. Dusty can't even say that. Dusty beat him in a Broncos brawl. But Dustin beat him clean. He beat Buckhouse Buck. That guy was a little bit off his rock if you ask me, though, but I'm just saying. Then you go to Cody. Goes to OVW. Becomes the world champ down there. Becomes the TV champ down there. Becomes the tag champ down there. Okay? Gets called up to WWE. Loses to Bob Holly twice. Finally beats Bob Holly. After losing to Bob Holly twice and finally beat Bob Holly one time, he forms a tag team with Bob Holly, becomes the world tag team champion. They will go on to hold the tag team championship for 230 days. I may be correct. I may be off with that number, but I don't know it was over 200 days before losing the titles to Cody and Ted DiBiase. Yes, I know what I just said. They lost the titles to Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes turned on Hardcore Holly. DiBiase and Rhodes would go on to hold the title for 90-some days before dropping them to the Batista and John Cena for only a week and winning them back from Batista and John Cena the following week. They would drop them again to CM Punk and Kofi Kingston would not regain them again. After the whole legacy with Orton, DiBiase, and Rhodes broke up, Cody went a separate way. He started teaming with Drew McIntyre. They won tag team turmoil to win his his fourth tag team championship. It happens. Okay? It truly happens. It's stupidness, but it happens. They will go on to become tag team champions. They will lose the tag team championships. I don't really know who they lose tag team championships to. I got to get back to, but I know they lost the titles. Cody will go on to become the Intercontinental Champion when he knocked off Ezekiel Jackson. He will hold that championship. Actually, he won that championship on SmackDown, and he will go on to hold that championship all the way until WrestleMania, where he lost it to the Big Show when Big Show knocked him out clean. He will beat Big Show in a technicality, and I said technicality, in a tables match with Extreme Rules, because the rules of a table match is follow. You have to be put through a table. Your opponent cannot put himself through a table. If so, the very first table match, the Hardy Boys would have lost to the Dudley Boys, but they didn't. Matt and Jeff put themselves through a table. Bubba and Devon put themselves through a table. I just think Bubba and Devon had a weird infatuation with table, but that's another time for another show. Okay, Big Show was about to pick Cody up, and he stepped on the table, broke the table. The referee rang the bell and awarded the match to Cody Rhodes. He would lose the Intercontinental Championship again. Okay, we'll go on to create this mythical character, Stardust, because he wanted Stardust to be just like his brother, Goldust. And we all know Goldust was out there. The stuff Goldust did with Ahmed Johnson. The stuff Goldust did with Razor Ramon. Oh my goodness. The backlot brawl with Roddy Piper and Goldust at WrestleMania 12. The casket match with Goldust and The Undertaker was classic. Then you have Stardust running around like a goof, laughing stupid with a stupid cape on and his face painted in a star. I just don't like him. It's just stupid. Stardust, all the big star on his face, walking around like a little big goof. So Goldust and Stardust formed together, and it was called Star and Goldust. When in reality, it should have been called Gold and Stardust. But no, Stardust had to go first. They would go on to be two-time tag team champions. Stardust would turn on his brother, and at Elimination Chamber, the pre-show, Goldust beat his brother. At WrestleMania, the pre-show, Goldust beat his brother again that same year. After that, Cody felt that Stardust ran his course, and he left WWE. Like I said earlier, he spent time in NWA. He spent time in Ring of Honor. He spent time in TNA. He spent time in he went back to OVW. He had I'm not gonna lie to you, the matches he had on the independent circuit was awesome. The match he had with Kurt Angle, the match he had with Mark Henry on the independent circuit, the match that he had with Cowboy James Storm, the match he had with Nick Aldis when he for the NWA World Championship. All four of those matches were classic. When he won the Ring of Honor World Championship, that match was awesome. I said it the last time I did a show about Cody. I'm saying it again. When he won the Ring of Honor World Championship, it actually meant something. When he won the NWA World Championship from current general manager of SmackDown, Nick Aldis, it meant something. Because when he won the NWA title, he became Him and his father are the only father-son duo to win the NWA World Championship. Now that can all change if David Flair come out of retirement and win the NWA World Championship. Then they'd be the only two father-son duo. But as of right now, Cody and Dusty Rhodes are the only father-son duo. What he did and what he did in NWA, the independent scene, that's awesome. At AEW's very first pay-per-view, All In, it was Cody versus Dustin. It was a bloodbath. That was a heck of a matchup, and I give both men a round of applause for that. That was a heck of a match. He came out in the throne. He destroyed the throne. He got on the mic, and he said, "This is that will be the first and last time you see some crap like that in this company." Okay. It was a diss to Triple H. That's exactly what it was. It was a shot at Triple H. Just like if you watch AEW this past Wednesday, Will Ospreay took a dig at Triple H. Triple H took a shot at him. Ospreay came back and said the only reason he's in the position that he's in right now because he was doing a little shaky with the boss's daughter. I have my own thoughts on Paul Levesque. I have my own how I feel about Paul Levesque. I'm going to say this one time and one time only. If it wasn't for Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash, Paul Levesque would still be a blue blood. He would never develop Triple H gimmick. He would probably be still wrestling in WCW, but he wouldn't have got as where he is right now if he wouldn't have hooked up with Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. And back in the 90s in WWF, Shawn Michaels was Mr. Untouchable. Shawn Michaels is the only man to this day to get in Vince McMahon face and get away with it. Vince would tell Shawn to do something. Shawn would get in his face. 5 minutes later, you look at the match. Everything Vince told Shawn to do, Shawn did it. Why get in his face? You're going to go out there and do it. But that's it's time for another show. All right? He didn't pull the trigger. He had one opportunity at the Ring of Honor World Championship. At the time, Chris Jericho was their world champion. Cody Rhodes was one of the executive producers. Okay, he was executive VP along with Kenny Omega, along with Nick and Matt Jackson, who a bunch of pricks. And they wonder why they can't make it in WWE. They wonder why they're AEW bound, and they wonder why they're New Japan bound. Different time, different story. Okay. All four of these guys were AEW. Well, three of them still are, but one of them, Cody, left. So all four of these guys are EVPs of AEW. This is my problem. Okay? This is my problem. Triple H pulled the trigger on himself because when he lost the championship to Big Show, he was not in power. When he regained the championship from Big Show, he was in power. Triple H pulled the trigger on himself to be the world champion of his company because it was right for business at the time. And I want everybody watching to hear me out before you say anything. At the time, the business fans got tired of the babyface champions, guys like Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley holding that championship. We needed a dominant heel wrestler to be world champion. Triple H was that heeled wrestler as champion because over in WCW, that championship got flipped around so many times, it lost all meaning to it. All right, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go on record. Hulk Hogan brought prestige to WCW World Championship. Different time, different show. I'll talk about that later. I got so much wrestling knowledge, I can go on for years with this show. But, okay, Triple H pulled the trigger. It was a good business decision. Triple H knew he had that much power. Triple H knew he had that much influence that he can pull the trigger and be right for business because as the world champion, he was ruthless, he was dominant, he cut every corner to keep that WWF championship. And that's what the company needed. That's what the business needed at that time. Fast forward, 2020, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Cody an EVP. He didn't pull the trigger because, in my opinion, He didn't feel he was a big enough star to beat Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho did not need to win the AEW World Championship, but they gave it to him because he was bigger than Hangman Adam Page. That's the only reason Chris Jericho won that championship. At the time, and I know a lot of people are going to debate with me about this, but at the time, Chris Jericho was the biggest star in AEW. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks was not as big in the States as Chris Jericho was. Jericho was huge because of his WCW and WWF fame. He was doing stupid stuff in WCW. He would come out with Ralphus. He would get lost in the locker room. He would challenge Goldberg, or as he called him at the time, Greenberg. He would go to WWF. His debut, he got put on the map in a big way by Rock. The Rock put him on the map. From that point on, that skyrocketed Chris Jericho's career. He went into a long rivalry with the late Chris Benoit, and that was a rivalry that will go down in history. Then he would go on a rivalry with Triple H, another rivalry that will go down in history. That's why Chris Jericho was the top dog in AEW. I felt like Cody didn't pull the trigger because he felt he wasn't the biggest star than Chris Jericho. He felt like the Stardust damaged his credibility. He could have pulled the trigger and became world champion and made himself a big star. That way, when he came back to WWE, winning this championship now would have just elevated him to a whole other level. That's my whole issue with that. You wait until you come back to the company you started with, that you badmouth when you was gone. Now that you're back, it's all WWE. It's not, you don't hear crap from AEW. He should have pulled the trigger. He should have pulled the trigger and became the world champion, but he did not. Let's fast forward. Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega pulled the trigger. You know why? Because Kenny Omega saw it. He saw the big picture. Kenny Omega saw, okay, Cody didn't see what I'm seeing right now. If Cody would have did this, it would have been me and Cody for the world championship, not me and Mox. But it's me and Mox. Kenny Omega pulled the trigger. He pulled that trigger. He became the AEW world champion. Omega went on a run. Omega will become the AAA world champion, the TNA world champion. He will go down to CMLA, win that world championship. All that was from Cody. Now for Kenny, for Cody. But because Cody was hesitant on the trigger, that's what happened. That's my only beef with Cody. I have no problem with him, what happened with him. I have no problem, a fact with him finishing the story, the fact that it took him 2 years. My issue is you was EVP. You should have pulled the trigger. You badmouth Triple H, but Triple H did was best for business. You probably felt that you wasn't bigger than Chris Jericho. You could have made yourself just as big as Chris Jericho. What Kenny Omega did made himself bigger than Jericho and half of that locker room in AEW. That's my reason. What he did last Sunday, when he knocked off Roman Reigns' awesome title reign, unbelievable. To me, perhaps one of the greatest stories ever written right now. All right, he earned it. He did it. He was the first man to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles. He pulled the Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels won the 95-96 Royal Rumble. He lost to Diesel at WrestleMania 11. He beat Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. One reason he beat Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12 because Bret Hart was going out for a sabbatical. Bret was on a TV show that was going to take a majority of his time. So he left. He took a sabbatical. Shawn beat him. Shawn carried that championship from WrestleMania 12 all the way until Survivor Series that year. The journey is just beginning for Cody Rhodes. In a couple of weeks, they're heading to Paris for Backlash. This is the first time Paris is hosting Backlash. Half of the pay-per-views this year is out the states. The only state show they have is SummerSlam, and that's Detroit. Toronto's hosting Money in the Bank. I have no idea where Extreme Rules is. Next time I do a Master of the Mat, I'll give you the update, but I'm just saying. The story begins now. He did something. He should be very proud of himself. He did something that his brother did. His brother couldn't do. His brother didn't have opportunity at that. I stand on what I said. His father had one opportunity at that championship. Dustin had 0. Cody had 2. And on his second chance, Cody became the WWE champion. Something his daddy, something his brother cannot say they did. That's the reason why I dislike Cody Rhodes. Because he could have pulled the trigger. He could have made himself a huge star. But he did not. He may have been one to stay humbled. He may have been one that he felt like he couldn't do it. The pressure's on now. You are the world champion in a multi-billion-dollar company. This is the first. You are the first. No, I'm not going to say that. You're the first Rhodes to headline and to be the top dog in WWE and WWF. You are the first Rhodes to hold that championship. The story begins now. Let's see, can he keep up the momentum that he had at WrestleMania? Let's see, can he keep up the momentum that he had going to WrestleMania? Damian Priest, the first Puerto Rican champion in 50 years. He cashed in Money in the Bank. He's got the biggest challenge ahead of him. He's wrestling main event Jey Uso at Backlash. Are they finally gonna pull the trigger on Jey and give him a singles championship? That's the question. That's the question that's on everybody's mind. This is the spectacular time for Cody, for Priest. Okay, then you got the draft in 2 weeks. You got prospects who's coming over from NXT, guys like Ilya Dragunov. This guy's a nut. Okay, the women's division. You look what Rhea did to Becky Lynch on night 1 was unheard of. Nobody done what Rhea did to Becky. You look at night 2, you look at Bayley and Io, the show they put on. You look at the debut Jade Caldwell made in a 6-man tag, and her debut match, one-on-one match on Monday Night Raw against Chelsea Drain. Can't stand her either. You look at the star power. You look at what's about to happen in the coming weeks in WWE. Rick Steiner's son is going to be a beast when he hits that main roster. Okay, I went from 2 to 0. That's fine. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. I gave my take. I gave why I don't like him. No, people can leave me alone about it. One second. All right, I'm back. All right, I'm back. So let's talk about let's jump subjects and let's talk about my company, the BCW. Let's talk about how I pulled the Triple H. And I'm gonna make this very clear, very punctual. Hold on. Well, I pulled the trigger in my company. I had to. A lot of guys over there, they're coming off the Bryan Center. They're getting their feet wet, and they're not at the main event status just yet. Some of them I'm getting there. Some of them are on the cusp of breaking out, becoming that main event star. I see that, and I'm not going to hold them back. But what I will do, I'm going to take this time to thank guys from WFCW who came over. And contrary to what people said last night, no, I did not exalt anything. I asked anybody from the WFCW, did they want to be a part of the BCW? And they said yes. I gave them an opportunity. I go back and forth with Tay all the time. But I respect Tay because he volunteered. He gave me the Dark Covenant. The Dark Covenant came over and they became tag team champions in BCW. They had a heck of a reign. Tay came over. Tay was the first WFCW superstar to strike gold in the BCW. World Heavyweight Champion. Became one of the few people to come over and strike gold in this company because he won an opportunity. Okay, he won this opportunity. He had an opportunity. He struck gold. He became the very first two-time BCW World Champion. Two times over. Then Gangland 21 came over. 21 struck gold when he became the world champ as well. He's a three-time BCW world champion. Savage Goon, Savage Ron, Goon, whatever you want to call himself, he won a tournament to become the BCW world champion. I don't give championships away. I make people earn championships in my company. And I got a guy right now who's watching the Big OC. He came over to the BCW and became a force to be reckoned with in my company. Not only did he become the BCW World Champion, he became the BCW Next Level Champion. He became the BCW United States Champion. He became the BCW World Champion. He held that world. He's a three-time BCW World Champion. Red Savage became the BCW champion. He's a two-time. Well, altogether, there's world champion. So he's a four-time world champion of BCW. Overall, five-time world champion. OC, he's a three-time world champion of WFCW. I mean, four-time world champion of WFCW. He's a three-time world champion of BCW. He's an overall seven-time world champion. Tay, a two-time world champion of BCW, and he's the current world champion. So he's an overall three-time world champion. You look at Zoom. Zoom came over. Zoom struck the lightning in the bottle. He's a one-time former world heavyweight champion of BCW, a one-time former world champion at WFCW. He's a two-time United States champion. And he's put it like this: he's been U.S. champion in BCW and WFCW. He's been world champion in WFCW and BCW. He is the current BCW $1 Million champion, and this Saturday night, him, OC, Tay will all be a part of the main event for the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. You look at Savage Goon, or AKA Goon, or whatever he's going by these days. I don't know. I can't keep up with the name change this guy has. You look at Goon. Goon is he went over he went over the he came over to BCW. He won the world championship in a tournament. He became a world champion he became world champion in his first night in the tournament. Dropped it to 21, regained it back from 21, and became a 2-time world champion. And you look at the career he's had in the WFCW, he's a former 4-time Intercontinental champion. He's a former 3-time tag team champion. He's the current 2-time television champion. He's a 2-time world champion in my company. This Saturday, him and Randy has an opportunity to become tag team champions. So you look at the repertoire that these guys have held. Hey, I hold nothing personal against nobody. I come at you because I see the greatness in you. Guys have came over from the WFCW and became world champion in the BCW. I pulled the trigger on myself because I'm the biggest star in that company. So I'm going to get the ratings on me. Why? I'm the most hated. 4 years in a row, I've been the most hated, and I played that role to a T. Why? Because that's what I am. I'm going to be the world champion until somebody knocks me off that throne. I'm going to be the top dog in my company until somebody knocks me off my throne, either from WFCW or BCW, whoever it is. I'm going to be the world champion because you got to pull the trigger on yourself because you got to let others see the star power you are. I'm an 8-time world champion WFCW, a 3-time world champion in my own company. I'm an 11-time world champ overall. The background, I'm the first ever BCW, WFCW. I'm the first man to win the Triple Crown winner in both companies. Why? Because I am good. I'm Mr. Relativity. I make people relevant. If it wasn't for me, Savage Ron wouldn't have got the Intercontinental Championship title match. If it wasn't for me, Willie wouldn't have got a world title match. Why? Because I got cocky and I had an open challenge for the world championship. I got cocky and had an open challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. How many times I lost, and I'm still the king of Hell in a Cell. I'm still the king of the cages. You get in that cell with me, 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, no matter which one it is, you're going to get beat. Why? Because that's my playground. Just because OC holds the championship right now, it's on borrowed time. He holds the championship right now, don't mean jack to me. It's my playground. I'm the leasing holder of that playground. I have paperwork for that playground. Why? Because I'm the master of Hell in a Cell matches. I'm the master of steel cage matches. You get in that cage match with me. You get in that cell match with me. You will not come out of victory. And it's not a spam. It's just that's how good I am. There's nobody in WFCW history that has had more Hell in a Cell matches than me. Why? Because I'm the master of the Hell in a Cell match. Like I said, the only reason OC has that championship because he's borrowing it. And when he gets in that cell with me, 1-on-1, that championship's coming home where it belongs. I call myself the top dog because I am the top dog. I'm the top of the mountain. And until somebody knocks me off that mountain, I'm going to be on the top of the mountain. I don't care if you think, oh, well, you just saying that. And no. Hear me and hear me well when I say this. Until somebody's big and bad enough to knock me off the top of the mountain, you're looking at the top of the mountain. I don't care who's the world champion on both shows. The top of the mountain reads Anthony, Tay, and Jay New. Until somebody knocks me off, I'm the top of the mountain. Whether you like it or not, deal with it. Because some of you ain't even reached the top of the mountain yet. You're still in the mid card. Some of you wouldn't be where you are if I didn't put you over, if I didn't make you relevant, and you know who you are, and I don't have to call you out on here because you know who you are. I made you relevant. I made you what you are. You was in my faction. Didn't we kick you out of my faction because we got tired of all the crap? I said it and I stand on it to this day. I'm the top of the mountain. Don't care who likes it. It's me. It's always going to be me. It's going to be me until somebody knocks me off. I'm a current double champion. I'm a Grand Slam winner and Triple Crown winner in one company, and in my own company, I'm a Triple Crown winner over there. Why? Because I'm that good. Yes, I lose matches. Yes, I can go on a losing streak next week and last until September, but I'll rebound right back and come back and be on top. That's just how good I am. So, with that being said, I'm going to conclude this show by saying this. This goes out to both locker rooms, the BCW locker room and the WFCW locker room over on Tuesday nights. If you feel that you don't like me being on the top of the mountain, come knock me off. If you feel like I'm too cocky, I'm too arrogant, come knock me off that mountain. The door is knocking, the opportunity to knock me off that mountain. That's all I'm going to say. So, this has been a Master of the Mat. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for BCW Chase for Your Glory. The main event will be for the BCW Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. And it will be the following people in this matchup. The WFCW World Heavyweight Champion, King Tay. Big Man, one of the co-owners of the WFCW. He's a former WFCW World Heavyweight Champion. The Big OC is in this match. He's a former WFCW World Champion, a current BCW $1 Million Champion. Zoom Dog, a.k.a. Soul Reaper, is in this match. He is the winner of the BCW Rumble. He's been called in the locker room the future of BCW. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Kenny the Assassin will be in this match. And representing the end-all be-all enterprise, not only is he representing the end-all be-all enterprise, he is the leader and founder of the BCW and BCW. He is the leader and founder of the end-all be-all enterprise. The 11-time World Heavyweight Champion, the end-all be-all himself, me, is in this match. This is a 60 minutes. Falls count anywhere. Iron Man match for the BCW Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. Also, tomorrow night, you're going to see a fatal four-way for the BCW World Tag Team Championship. The Revolution, which who have been on a dominant tear as of late as tag team champions, will defend their tag team championships against the Bryan brothers, Ronnie and Ron, Tyrone and Lonzo, the Edwards Newman brothers, and the DS in a fatal four-way elimination match. And much, much more. Tomorrow night is BCW's big show, and it's called Chase for Your Glory. And I hope you all can watch it because you will not be disappointed. A couple surprises, a couple here and there, but I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Until then, this has been the Master of the Mat. Until we meet again, until I see you again, y'all have a blessed Friday. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out. One second. Sorry, I'm trying to end this and I'm trying to respond to an email.